Good afternoon, and welcome to Picking Up the Pieces, where we dare to persevere and help young adults reach their full potential. And this week is no exception. We're here to welcome Toby Schine with the Boston Children's Theater. We're delighted to have you here.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
I'm very excited to talk about all the wonderful initiatives and programs that you put forth for children.
Thank you, and we're excited to be here and to share a little bit about what we do.
Great, great, terrific.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit of the history of the Boston Children's Theater?
Absolutely. Yeah, the Boston Children's Theater is actually we claim to be the oldest continuously producing children's theater in the country. Its roots go back to 1917, but it was incorporated as a not-for-profit in 1951. So we're officially heading into our 61st season of producing live shows and running training programs for youth.
Wow. And how did you get involved with the theater, Toby?
I started, as many people do in the theater, as an actor, and very quickly wound up directing and then producing theater, and was previously at the North Shore Music Theater working with the education program. And then both Burgess Clark and I came down to the Boston Children's Theater during a change in leadership, and have been working to reinvigorate the programming and to really bring Boston Children's Theater on the map.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And how long has that been? How many years has that been?
That's been for 4 years now, so we're heading into our 4th season under what our board calls the new Boston Children's Theater, and with a renewed enthusiasm for the training programs, for the main stage, and a real focus in also performing for schools during the school day and reaching a young audience and being that first theater experience for young people.
That's great. So what are some of the things that has happened in those 4 years, specifically that's different than what was happening before you came on board in Burgess?
Well, it's been exciting. A lot of the focus has stayed the same, in that the Children's Theater has always been a place for young people to explore and to learn and grow as artists, as people, and to learn about the craft. But I think what the new emphasis really is on professionalism and on bringing a level of quality to the experience that will set us apart as an institution working with young people. So we're a point of introduction for people for ages 4 up to 19 to learn about theater, to have that first experience and really break the ice in learning about the art form. And then we also have programs and a real strong focus on professional training for young actors. So for those young people who want to go through and go to Broadway or have a career in television, we have the training, we have the tools to get them there, and they are actually the actors in our main stage productions. So our audiences see the result of the training every show that we do.
Fantastic. And let's talk about some of those programs.
Absolutely. So we have a variety of programs. We start at age 4. With a center stage discovery program.
4 years old.
Indeed. There's a.
That must be fun.
It absolutely.
Did you have their nannies with you, or?
We jest, but yes. In some cases, the nannies absolutely come along and are part of that experience. And every single beginning of a session, we will have parents standing nervously outside of the door, and you can tell after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, everyone starts to relax and realize that their kids are having a wonderful time. So there's an emphasis on learning about theater, learning about telling stories on stage in those early classes, and also on taking part in a class to begin with, on socialization and on being with a group of your peers and on learning what it's like to be a member of a group. So that starts very young, and then as we get older with our programs and our training, as the students are older in age, the emphasis shifts towards that theater training and giving them the skills that they'll need to succeed in plays, in television, on film, Broadway, and also along the way to develop as artists and as people, and to give them the skills that they're going to need for life.
That's great. That's great.
That's fantastic. So having the young adults really be part of everything, from kind of learning to interact with one another to learning to kind of present a story in an interesting and meaningful way to kind of all the way up to the kind of the very formal training that will help them launch their careers, hopefully.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the wonderful things about working in theater, is that there's so many ways to get involved, and plays are about life. They're about everything. So in doing theater, you learn history, you learn about social issues. You learn about, obviously, entertainment and what it is to watch something and laugh, and what it is to watch something what makes people cry, and what moves people. And in doing that, you learn about what it is to be a human. You learn about the experience of life.
Absolutely. Being on a team, and I imagine very self-esteem building, too.
Absolutely, and I think that's something that's often really, really overlooked. And what we see every day is that theater is also a place, definitely Boston Children's Theater, that captures all those kids who are not getting that type of team-building experience or confidence-building experience in other areas in their life. These are not the math club kids. These are not the sports jocks.
So they're not playing football at the same time as they're going to theater class. Right.
Exactly. But these are the kids who need theater and need the arts to express themselves. And that's where, in addition to learning how to be great actors, they're learning how to participate in a group. They're learning those 21st century skills.
That's great.
That they're going to
great
need.
Business skills for later on.
Absolutely. I always say we produce some of the best doctors and lawyers for our program as well.
That's great. That's
Absolutely.
great.
And there might be a few football players in between, too.
We won't hold that against them.
That's right. Great. We welcome everyone. And I think that's one of the main tenets, that you're accessible to all young adults, because I imagine a lot of young adults might not come from families that could sustain being part of a program, that might not be able to finance that.
Absolutely, and that's always a strong emphasis of the program, that everyone is welcome to take part in it, and we do have a strong policy that no one's turned away for the lack of ability to pay. So we will always make it work, because we believe that where there's the interest and where there's the talent and where there's the desire, our program should fill that need.
Oh, that's great. And how many, your kids how many kids come with a need to help? I mean, that you have to help fund?
That's a great question. I'd say about 30 to 40% of the kids in the program, and there's about 800 kids a year that are taking part in the classes, will receive some form of scholarship or other. So it's a very, very active program for us, and one that I anticipate, and we are always looking to grow and to seek additional sources of funding to make that possible.
Okay,
Fantastic.
that's great.
So I thought it'd be kind of fun to show a clip of what we're talking about, because it's one thing for us to talk about theater, but if we could roll a clip, and I think we're going to start with a scene from Reflections of a Rock Lobster. And
wonderful.
And it's one of the first scenes, I believe, where they're going to talk about someone is being bullied on a bike. So I think, is there anything additional you'd like to say to set the scene for that?
Absolutely. I think because this scene will bring up, I think as you see it, you'll be probably surprised at how realistic it is. And for Boston Children's Theater, Reflections of a Rock Lobster was a real hallmark production. It was the first pro-GLBT piece to be done on a children's theater main stage in the country.
Wow.
And it had a strong, strong focus of raising awareness about bullying. And it is a story that portrays life the way that teens are experiencing it. So this is a snippet that we're going to see that's, in a lot of ways, right from reality.
Wow, fantastic. And I think that's a huge piece, because here at Picking Up the Pieces, that's one of our big objectives, is to help young adults figure out a way to communicate effectively so there isn't that level of violence that transpires, unfortunately, in many schools. So I think it's fantastic. And you even had support from the mayor. Mayor Menino was very thrilled about this production, and he had very positive things to say about how this is helping reduce violence in the city.
Absolutely, and we were very, 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 very happy with the reception from the city, from public schools, and we also saw a lot of interest from about the production from the celebrity pool as well.
Oh, wow.
Susan Sarandon came forward and
Wow.
gave a statement of support, and a lot of Broadway actors, Gavin Creel included. So we've seen that collective awareness about bullying and letting everyone know about this issue is a real focus in the country right now, and we celebrate it. Fantastic.
So if we can, we'll pull up the clip now and kind of see, and we're actually going to have next, on our next show, Burgess Clark is going to...
Why don't you get off the bike?
No.
I said, get off the bike.
No.
Do something! You do it!
Where's your money? We want faggot.
Here.
Get up! I said, is that all you got?
Yes!
So welcome back. I thought that was a fantastic clip, and you've had a lot of critical success with Reflections of a Rock Lobster. It's actually gotten national attention. Can you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. In fact, the day before we opened, we saw what was my favorite headline of my entire career. Boston Magazine ran an article that said, Lady Gaga and Boston Children's Theater preach tolerance.
That is fantastic.
I would love to say that Lady Gaga came to the show and enjoyed the experience with us, but
She could have been.
she might have been.
She might have been incognito. She has
Indeed.
many forms that she takes on, including, I think, live. Oh no, it's not live meat, but
That's true. That's true. Though she was wearing some form of costume or other over in Cambridge and starting the Born This Way Foundation. So there again, a celebrity really behind the cause of bullying, and we were really swept up in that national energy and received attention from American Theater Magazine, from MSNBC, and also from a lot of member theaters in the theater community and high schools across the country who expressed an interest once they found out about the play and doing the production or having us come and tour the production to them. So those are all possibilities that we're exploring with it as well.
wow,
That's
fantastic.
great.
So to take it on the road and really reach lots of different people.
Absolutely, absolutely. We think that the show and theater in general has a really transformative ability and an ability to bring people together and share an experience in a very real and tangible way. And for raising awareness and really getting a message across about stopping the bullying in schools, there's nothing more powerful than being in a theater and seeing people on stage go through that experience right in front of your eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking along those lines, so you might actually go to all different cities and really bring this home, and you also do a part of training, kind of anti-bullying training along with the shows. So you do kind of a follow-up. It's a really comprehensive way that you address this problem.
Absolutely, and that's something that is also a focus within the program, that we will always look to create workshop opportunities before the show or after the show to help tie in the experience of going to the theater with a meaningful discussion or a meaningful workshop with the audiences that come and see it. So it really is an experience that can start in the classroom, it can start at home, it can start by attending a workshop at the theater, and then we see the show, and then it ends with follow-up as well, so that we really harness the power of the message in a meaningful way.
Oh, that's great. So you go to high schools and you go to what are the school levels that you go to? The different.
So we go to what we found with the Reflections of a Rock Lobster is mostly 6th grades through 12th grades, and we would go do a workshop with an actor from the production. It's something we're doing this year again as well. And we would talk about the themes in the play, talk about the story of the play, and the kids would share their experiences, and all the time we would do exercises, theater exercises, role-playing, bullying exercises, to really understand the dynamics that can occur and do occur in every high school in the country.
Well, it sounds really powerful.
Absolutely, absolutely. We find it to be a powerful teaching tool and also a great way of bringing theater into the classroom as an educational tool.
That's great. And do you do these workshops with their peers, or like your own actors, or it's just done with the producer or the director of the production?
Right. So we do the productions. We do these workshops with actors from the show, and then we have partnered also with PFLAG, the Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, who are really wonderful at facilitating these types of experiences in schools. And we are talking about putting together some workshops with them this year with specific high schools that have expressed an interest and where we feel like it's going to be very powerful.
Wow.
That's fantastic. So thinking about, you said a lot of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, because it's getting even younger, because the bullying is happening on all levels. It's interesting that there's a real interest and excitement around the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
Right, right. And I think, we all remember 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, or don't remember any of it.
Right. Blocked it out, maybe.
Exactly. And I think it's such a trying time socially. And we saw that the strongest response from teachers and administration to raise awareness about bullying, I think the earliest and the strongest came from those grades. And they surprised us in being the largest audience for the show, that we saw more 6th, 7th, and 8th grades than high school students in the first run of the show.
Wow.
It's wonderful.
So there's a lot of growth happening from the audiences, but can you give us a success story of some of the growth that's happening within the young people themselves that are going through the acting experience?
Absolutely, absolutely. We've definitely talked a lot about the audience experience, and the experience for the kids taking part in the show was really, really powerful. And what was special about this production was that the kids actually started very, very early on and worked with our artistic director, Burgess Clark, in doing workshops weekly for a year and a half and exploring the issues and the themes that are addressed in the play and talking about bullying, talking about high school in 1979 and what it's like now, where we've grown, where we haven't grown. And all of those kids had a really remarkable connection to the piece and absolutely had an experience of personal growth that if they were here with us today, they would talk about at length in taking part in the play and learning about themselves and learning about their bullying. And the most remarkable thing I thought that several of them said is that by doing these workshops and doing the play and being actors in the show, they felt like they became advocates for the cause and for the message of the piece. And they felt like they could no longer go to school and watch someone get bullied and not say something.
Right.
And that to me is success.
That's great. Talk to me about your graduates from your program, and who are they, and what do they do after they graduate from your program, or graduate from, I guess, high school, and then they graduate from your program? How does that work? Right.
And one of the things that we do is we really help, for those who want to go on and become actors, we help with that college audition process, which can be very, very, very daunting.
Wow, you're like their coach.
Absolutely. There's a lot of coaching involved, both of the kids and the parents throughout the process of learning how to navigate these ever increasingly competitive theater arts and performance programs in the country. So we help them do that. Each year we'll have somewhere between 17 and 20 graduates. And for the last 5 years running, all of those graduates have gotten into the school of their choice. So there's a real, we like to think we know what we're doing.
Right. College preparation here, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And they go on to really terrific, terrific lives and terrific careers. We can always point to about 5 actors that are on Broadway or in a national tour in a leading role at any given time that are graduates of BCT. And BCT's distant history, or not too distant, 30 years ago or so, saw some people attend that we know now. Julie Taymor was an alumnus of Boston Children's Theater.
Wow.
And Susan Batson, who's a name behind the stars. She is an acting coach also, but to people like Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, and a lot of other stars that we would know. So there's
great.
A lot of Boston Children's Theater
Have you
alumni
had to
out
come
there.
back to the theater to connect with the theater at all?
That's something that we're really starting to see as the profile of the theater and the awareness of Boston Children's Theater has really grown in the last 3 years exponentially. We're seeing a lot of our alumni take notice and come back and come out of the woodwork and let us know what they're doing and let us know what they are. And we're always looking to connect.
Fantastic. And can you tell us about a personal story? Because you shared with me a couple stories about young adults who kind of came to the theater, maybe they were shy or kind of disenfranchised from their peers and kind of struggling to find out who they were, or who they are, and kind of it really changes lives. We talk about an individual story.
Absolutely, absolutely. We had there's one gentleman who jumps to mind who actually came to Boston Children's Theater on the very first day that I started there. And he attended an audition with a friend of his. He wasn't going to audition. We convinced him to on a whim. Why not? And
nothing to lose there.
Yeah, no. Absolutely.
Kind of pushed him like, yeah, come on.
Go for it, go for it. And he did, and he was a wonderful, wonderful actor. And we learned later that evening that he had just dropped out of school and was considering some very, very bad choices, and told him he should not do that in the short term, and he should come to Boston Children's Theater. He should do the show that we were auditioning for. And he was at the program for 2 straight years, almost every single day.
Wow.
And his final present to artistic director, Burgess Clark, was a copy of his report card. He got himself back in school. He got straight A's.
Wow.
And then he was admitted to Pace University on a full scholarship for acting.
Wow.
So it was a real
is a great
story
story.
of seeing someone through the program, but definitely on their own, pull themselves together and turn their life around.
That's amazing. It's amazing what you can do when you feel safe and you feel comfortable and you're feeling like you're connecting with a organization or some sort of activity that you're excelling in.
Absolutely, and I think that's what, for me, the type of experience we're trying to create is to give these kids and these young artists a home, somewhere that they can feel safe, somewhere that they can be artistically who they are, and somewhere that they can really explore who they are with a group of peers who all love the same thing. It's really magic. That element of it is really magic.
Oh, that's fantastic. And a lot of times you talk about a family and it creates a community. Can you talk about that, the power in that?
Absolutely. I think every show, it's almost become a joke that every show becomes a family. And I think at BCT, where young actors are meeting, obviously age 12 to 18, a young age, sometimes even younger, that family becomes a really, really powerful bond. And we see casts that closed a show a year and a half ago still get together for cast parties.
Wow.
And still get together to connect with each other. So there's a real strong bond in that shared experience and a family and a group of people that you watch out for, and you celebrate their successes when they're onto their next project, and they help each other out, and it really is a family. We think of it as the BCT family.
It's wonderful.
Fantastic. So as we begin to wrap up the show, if someone was interested, how would they get in contact with you? We're going to show the clip of the website, and if people had any, what's the best way if a young adult is watching this and saying, well, I want to get involved, how do they do it? What do they need to do? Absolutely.
The good news is there's many ways to be in touch with us. The website is great. You can email us at info@bostonchildrenstheater.org, or our phone number is on the website as well, and it's easy to call, and we're always happy to talk about the best way to become involved or those opportunities that are available.
Fantastic. We have the number up on the screen. It does say Best of Boston 2012, bostonchildrenstheater.org, and it's 617-424-6634. So they can call, they can email, or they can just click on the website and something will go out.
Absolutely.
And they can also check out a show. You have some upcoming shows. You want to mention those?
We do. We're excited. We're bringing back the Velveteen Rabbit for its 4th year. It's a really magical show. It's told with puppets and with live actors. So it's a really extraordinary holiday experience. And that's performing at the Benjamin Franklin Institute, December 15th to December 23rd. And then this spring we start up with a great lineup of shows with Honk, which is based on The Ugly Duckling. It's a really fun musical.
Oh, neat.
And then we're bringing back Reflections of a Rock Lobster in March at the Boston Center for the Arts.
Oh, good.
Fantastic.
We're ending the season with 2 of our favorites. We're doing Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
That is a fun one.
Great fun one, and one that we can all relate to. And then our closing show of the season is Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're looking forward to that as well.
Fantastic. So Velveteen Rabbit is wonderful because that's a very holiday classic. It's coming up very soon. And what are the ages? What do you target certain age ranges for specific shows? What's kind of the people that get the age range that gets most excited about that one?
About Velveteen Rabbit,
Yeah.
ages 4 to 80.
Really? Okay.
Mostly ages 4 to 8. It's absolutely targeted towards our younger audiences, and the cast is also young and terrifically talented this year. So I'm really excited.
So you're going to have some
everyone see it.
4-year-olds in this cast, I assume.
Not quite that
Okay.
young, but,
All right.
but we do have an 8-year-old in the cast
Okay.
who's doing a really incredible job.
Good.
Fantastic. Well, we'd like to say thank you very much, Toby, for being on the show and telling us all about all the wonderful things that Boston Children's Theater is doing. And I can't wait to see Velveteen Rabbit. And I missed the first time around Reflections of a Rock Lobster, so I can't wait to go see that. I think that would be fantastic.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. We're happy to be here, and we look forward to seeing you at the shows.
Fantastic.
Great.
And we're also going to have on, we'll tell people that in the future we're going to have on Burgess Clark come on and talk about more in depth, if people are interested, the reflections of the rock lobster. So we're looking forward to that show as well.
Wonderful.
And I'd like to say thank you very much to our audience for once again tuning in to Picking Up the Pieces, where we dare to persevere. And we'd like to say thank you to the Department of Mental Health for sponsoring the show and for being a real advocate for young adults in all different levels of their lives. We'd like to say, look out for that person that might be just in need of that extra special potential, that extra special support that would help them reach their full potential. Thank you.